What is going on, everyone? Welcome to another Bucks on Deck podcast episode. I'm Anthony Murphy. With me, as always, Nola Jeffy. Nola, what's going on, man?
It's another damn paradise, aside from the fact it's been a little chilly here lately.
Yeah, man. This cold, even up here. Like I went out this morning I want to go try to take my dog for a walk, and like this cold breeze hit, and we both turned around and left. It's. I looked at my watch. It said April. I'm like, it does not feel like it's April right now. This cold weather will not shake. I guess it was like snowing up in Pittsburgh too the other day, or today, even today. So, but yeah, cold weather, not leaving. Baseball season is here though, and this past weekend we had our first full weekend. First full weekend of minor league affiliates going. Bradenton, Greensboro, Altoona all kicked off their seasons. So I figured for this episode here, and then like Tuesday while we're recording, they're getting ready their first full week of games. They're all getting wrapped up as we record. But looking back this weekend, I figured we split up. Spend a couple minutes on some of the pitchers, a couple minutes on the hitters. Start with the pitching. Anyone pitching wise kind of stood out over this past weekend, and then like maybe even Tuesday for you?
Well, obviously, my boy Garrett McMillan had a great start to his season. Going off of Tuesday night, he only threw 4 innings and ended up giving up a couple runs, but Po-Yu Chen actually fared rather well against a very offensive, gifted Akron Rubber Ducks for the Guardians. Obviously, Travis Bazzana, first overall pick. Kafis is a guy that's flying up charts. Cooper Ingle, I think it was Fangraphs, has him like in the 50s. But 7 strikeouts in 4 innings, 2 earned runs. I mean, not a bad start.
Yeah, I think he struck out Bazzana and Kafis like the first time through the lineup. I'm pretty sure, right? So not a bad start. You mentioned McMillan.
Yeah, I think he struck out Bazzana in Bazzana's first 2 at bats.
Oh, okay, nice. I saw the first time through, and then I kind of lost track of everything. You mentioned McMillan, 8 strikeouts over 5 innings. He's kind of becoming like he's in high A still. I think we were both kind of hoping he'd get pushed to Altoona just to kind of see how he manages it. I think at some point one of us mentioned in the offseason that like if they're going to give him a shot in the rotation, maybe they stick him in Greensboro for a little bit to kind of get used to it. But I imagine as I can't. The AAA, the arms in AAA are probably going to start moving up to the majors like fairly quickly, or they have the potential to. So that means they'll need some of the AA arms to head up that way, which would probably open up things for McMillan to move up at some point.
Or you mean after they trade a couple arms for Tyler Soderstrom?
Yeah. I mean, that's gonna at this point, if he keeps on this pace, like they're gonna need a bunch of those arms.
Yeah, they would have to send him a whole rotation.
Yeah. Could always just try to get Nick Kurtz. Nick Kurtz for Po-Yu Chen. Who says no?
The Pirates for some reason. Which I do think that's kind of interesting with regards to Chen's 23, I believe. I could look it up real quick, but it does kind of show the embarrassment of riches they have. I mean, Po-Yu Chen, I mean, he's obviously not a guy that is going to flash really anything nasty or stand out, but he's been, a serviceable, pitcher that has, moved up pretty consistently and been competitive at each level. I mean, we'll see when he gets to Indy at whatever point. I mean, he probably should be up there now. He has probably, I want to say, over like 150 innings in AA already. Time spent there. So it shouldn't be too long. At least he might be first man up when someone does move up from Indy.
I mean, with Thomas Harrington gone right now, or in the majors right now, I kind of feel like there's a spot open. I was trying to do the math on like the rotations and stuff like that. I'm not sure who the fifth starter is supposed to be for Indianapolis right now, because they have Burrows, they have Ashcraft, they have Bubba. Carson Fulmer was started, and I was kind of looking around. It's like I'm not quite sure who else is supposed to be there. I mean, maybe we get lucky and someone like Sean Sullivan is the guy who
Well,
slides
and
in
they've
there.
been
But they haven't needed one so far.
yeah, and they've also been kind of not yet, but they've also kind of been like limiting Burrows and like Ashcraft to begin the year.
Yeah. What is I don't know how many pitches Bubba threw tonight on his, but like I know Burrows has been like in between 50 and 60 pitches. Bubba was like 52 in his first start. I don't like I said, I'm not sure how much he had in the second outing. I think Ashcraft's gone a little bit deeper with his pitch count, but not by much more. I think he's been in like 60s. He might have gotten into the 70s, one of them.
So yeah, Bubba had 61 tonight in 4 innings.
It slowly works. It's cold. It's cold too in a lot of these places, so it wouldn't surprise. It doesn't surprise me if they're kind of being a little more cautious with them in that kind of weather. And as things warm up, you'll see them kind of get stretched out even further. But another guy I kind of want to mention too, that had a pretty good start. I want to kind of go back in to watch it again to kind of digest everything. But guy who kind of needed a big year this year, Anthony Solometo, 1 hit in 5 innings, walked 3, only struck out 2. But I think compared to some of the outings we saw from him last year, I would say this is a pretty good step in the right direction for 20. And I think also too, he needed like low 50s to get through the 5 innings too. So like even with the 3 walks, like super efficient with his game.
Well, one just I guess random as all hell name I want to mention in part because we joking about him in his first Indy appearance is at this point long forgotten piece of the Joe Musgrove trade, Drake Fellows. He had a nice appearance tonight. I decided to look it up just because we were joking in his first appearance. I was like, yeah, you're going to get 80% sliders. And I was like, oh, I guess I was technically wrong. He only threw 67% sliders, of which tonight he threw 15 pitches, 11 sliders, and he got 4 swings, 3 whiffs. He had a 60% whiff rate.
That slider's just been nasty, and to be like a 1 pitch guy and to have that kind of success so far. I mean,
he doesn't throw hard, but I mean he averages 93 on his sinker, which isn't awful.
I mean, if you're going to be a sinker slider guy and that slider is going to be the pitch that you're throwing 60-70% of the time, sure, why not? But yeah, he's like an interesting story. Like I said, what is he like 27 now? Went to Vanderbilt. Yeah. Did he go? Was it Vanderbilt that he went to? I believe so. Yeah. I mean, did he cry at that point? Did he was he close to crossing paths with Brian Reynolds at that point?
Yeah, geez, yeah, 27. Wow.
27.
That's like the reverse Escoto, where I was like, Escoto's only 22, really? How?
Yeah. Escoto was on that the 2021 Bradenton team that won the division, and then now here we are, 4 years later, and he's, I mean, granted he's still in high A, but also he's still only 22.
Yeah.
So. Crazy.
And that's what I thought was kind of interesting with Greensboro as a whole is when you look at that roster, in a lot of cases, it's players that in essence would have largely been junior like 2024 MLB Draft Junior picks.
Yeah, yeah. So still not they've been around for a long time, so like there's a certain level of like prospect
Yeah.
fatigue with them. But when you think about it, like yeah, these guys are still on the younger side. Some people coming out of you get someone like Will Taylor coming out of college. He's still in Bradenton. That's like okay, well he's still in kind of Bradenton, but because he's just turning pro. But also, like I mean, their ages aren't that far off. I'd like to see how like old Will Taylor is compared to someone like Escoto. January 10th, 2023. It's my brother's birthday. He's a year. Escoto's a year older. Basically, a year older. Or no, Taylor's a year older.
And Will Taylor was the same draft as Bubba Chandler,
Mm-hmm.
out of high school, and
Yep.
so I mean, Lonnie White Jr.
Yeah, Lonnie would have been. This would have been his first pro year. He'd have been on the same route as Will Taylor.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, speaking of Will Taylor, he had a pretty good weekend. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see any of it because Daytona went backwards and took their stream away. It wasn't a very good camera that they had, anyways. So, like, it was kind of hard to keep track with some stuff. But he went 4 for 9 with 2 doubles and an RBI. He's someone that I think we both kind of thought would have started in Greensboro. At least could have started in Greensboro. But I mean, maybe he moves pretty quickly, depending on how he does over the next couple of weeks here. Anyone else like stand out like hitting wise for you over the weekend?
Off the top of my head, I'm trying to think. Well, Javier Rivas.
Yep, I think
Gotta talk about him.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Rivas, including Tuesday night's game, he's now 8 for 17, a home run, 2 doubles, 6 RBI, and I think the big thing with him is right now it's just the 3 strikeouts and to 2 walks. Has looked much better in the zone, making contact, starting to be able to put the ball in the air a little bit more, which has led to the extra base numbers. And he's a guy that we've always been kind of throwing the name out there just because of the defense. Like he's an incredible defender. I think I made a comment on Twitter because he made this really nice play charging a ball. And then like by the time I get the tweet off, like I have to send another one because within that same time he's made another play defensively. So great defensively, even though he's 6'6". It's just he's shown some power. It's just struggled with the contact kind of thing. And it's 4 games.
I think Wilbur said he looks like he filled.
That'd be good. I mean, I'd wonder how that like long term maybe be. I mean, he hasn't looked like he's lost anything at shortstop, even though he's filled out.
No.
So I mean, that's always good. That's always what you worry about when you start hearing about.
I mean, at worst, he has to go to third base with his defensive capability and power potential. Darn.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's more of a prototype third baseman than I think they have in the system currently. So
yeah. Which then just one other quick name to throw out. I will be interested to actually finally get to catch on stream Camden Janik, 12th round selection out of Illinois last year. We did get to see him a little bit on the complex league streams, but I mean, not much. So he's started 3 for 7. So it would be nice to put eyes on him.
Yeah, and was it Wilbur's mentioned that seems pretty athletic? I mean, Tuesday night he started in left field. Wilbur mentioned I think he played like second base too, so showing a little versatility. And being in the lower levels right now, you're kind of have to be versatile because like each of the levels kind of have a starting catcher job kind of spoken for. With Richard Ramirez all the way down to the complex, Axial Plaza in Bradenton, and Alfonso in Greensboro. So if he wants that extra playing time, it's good. He's kind of shown the ability to move around. And he looked pretty good at the plate on Tuesday. Good approach, good nice swing, quick hands. So yeah, he's a guy. I can't remember who I read the draft report on, but they seem to like him compared to like what you would get out of a day 3 pick. So I think was it going with Greensboro? Greensboro was just outright electric over the weekend. Was it they scored 35 runs? They stole 14 bases. They hit like 5 home runs, something like that. I think we it got to a point to where like we were kind of just finally asking, is Greensboro going to be this good, or was just like Asheville that bad? And I think you said Asheville was just going to be that bad.
Yeah, I mean, no disrespect to the either teams, and or no disrespect, I guess, to Greensboro, but at least in the past few years, Asheville and Winston-Salem haven't exactly had the most competitive rosters.
Yeah.
Granted, their next 2 series that just looking at now, Jersey Shore, so the Phillies, and Bowling Green, the Rays. Mm-hmm. Those 2 will probably be a lot more telling where they're at.
Yeah, and that'll be fun because I'll be in Greensboro for that Jersey Shore series, so I'll get to see that. Leading the way with Greensboro, Esmeralda Valdez, he went 7 for 13 over the weekend. Had another 2 hits, I believe, this Tuesday night. Hit his first home run, and I think the biggest key with him is that he didn't strike out at all. I don't know if he struck out tonight, but he had 2 walks, no strikeouts over the weekend, 4 RBIs. We already mentioned Escoto. He got Player of the Week for High A or for the South Atlantic League. He went 6 for 9, 3 doubles, 4 stolen bases. Like I said, Greensboro, they stole 2 or 3 more bases tonight. So they've been super aggressive on the base paths so far. Deuce Gorson's up to 6 now on the season. So.
Yeah, and kind of going off of what we were saying, mentioned about Rivas, watching Valdez, he looks like he kind of maybe hit the gym a little bit this offseason. Yeah. Like he trimmed up a bit.
Yeah, I talked to him while I was down in Bradenton, and he slimmed down a lot, and he was like towering over me while we were talking for that Baseball America article I did. That is a giant person, and now he's yeah, it's more like man like frame now. Like he's filling into that frame now. It's not just like I think you mentioned it's not like baby fat anymore.
He did get his first strikeout tonight.
Okay. Well, that's still one. Still only one
strikeout in 20 plate appearances.
Yeah. Which I think he struck out 32% of the time last year in Bradenton. So, I mean,
it was high.
Yeah, I'll take it. I'll take it. And he's gonna be like for the reverse reasons for like someone like Sung Jae Chang, who like we knew we're gonna put up numbers in Greensboro, so we're gonna kind of ignore it. At this point, playing in High A, I'm not too concerned about like how many home runs he hits. We know the power's there. Like we saw the exit velocity numbers, and he led the Florida State League in home runs last year. For me, it's all about how much contact he's making. And when I talked to him, he mentioned that like that was his main goal this year, was to control his strike zone better. And he said that like sliders were his biggest issue, but he felt he came a long way with that. So.
Yeah, and that will be worth watching home versus road, because you can definitely see in the numbers where pitchers are a little more selective in where they throw pitches, I guess, when they're pitching in Greensboro, knowing it's such a bandbox.
Yep.
So it'll definitely be more telling when they get to lesser hitter-friendly parks and pitchers are more likely to go after them.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Although there are a lot of very hitter friendly parks in the South Atlantic League, but none is really. I think like Asheville and Greensboro are generally like the two biggest.
I- it actually isn't really that.
It is
And
not
I can't
anymore.
remember if, yeah, and I can't remember specifically, but I want to say the league average OPS was actually lower than the Eastern League, or it was relatively close. You would have thought there'd be a huge gap. I wasn't expecting because a lot of the offensive environment is heavily weighted towards. I want to say actually it's Bowling Green, Asheville, and Greensboro have three of the most hitter friendly, but I'd have to look that up again.
Okay. Yeah, so they're on the road right now against Winston-Salem. I wonder if like the like league average OPS going down has anything to do with maybe some teams like not putting some of like their better prospects there at that point, or maybe that just gets overwritten just because you'll have more like journeyman like depth guys there, maybe older guys for the level there, so that maybe that just cancels it out. I don't know. That'd be something
Yeah.
interesting to look at. But since we're starting a new league,
I'd be interested in that because was it Tri-City for the Angels is not friendly to hitters at all. It's one of the worst hitter parks in minor leagues. So I think that's largely why they just jump them over, because it's like you're gonna suffer there.
Yeah. Interesting stuff. So start a whole new. We got the first full week of games going on for like the lower levels. Is there anything you're kind of in particular now that we're going to get to see like the whole 6-game series? Is there any one or anything in particular that you're kind of looking for or watching for?
Hard to say, only because it's still such small sample size. So I'm not gonna put a lot of weight in how things happen and what happens. Particularly, like I think Jack Brannigan got one of his first hits like today. Ciani's not doing very well to kick things off. At least he's starting over Hudson Head. But yeah, it's going to take a couple weeks to kind of get a little more of the storylines of what's going on and how we're feeling about things.
Well, I think to me, like two things immediately stick out as far as like not like full season things, but like immediately over the next week or two is one, I want to see how they're gonna handle the usage for Alexandro Ercolani. We haven't seen him as of like Tuesday. Altoona put they haven't named like a starter in the app for Wednesday. He's, I believe, the only guy that hasn't pitched yet for the team. So it would kind of make sense for him there. When I talked to him at the end of the year in Greensboro, he kind of had the impression that he would be moving back into the rotation going into this year. Obviously, was like a swingman kind of thing for the majority of last year. Did really good in it, but so kind of be interested to see how that works.
Altoona's the only TBD right now, so
yeah,
maybe.
And I believe he's the only guy who hasn't pitched yet on that roster. Obviously, they can make like a roster move and stuff like that, so someone else might be able to slide in. Sean Sullivan hasn't been assigned to an affiliate yet, so we'll see there. We'll see there. And then the other thing too is I want to see some Connor Griffin at shortstop. We didn't get to see him play over the weekend. He was the shortstop over the weekend. He was the DH Tuesday night. Just want to kind of see how he looks, how the feel is to it. See him hit a little bit more. He went 1 for 5 on Tuesday with a couple strikeouts. One of them was on a pitch violation. He got rung up on a pitch violation. So I want to see him in the field. Kind of want to see how Bradenton's rotation rounds out too, because they have Gruber Mendez scheduled to start on Wednesday, and he's already pitched. Me and Wilbur were talking about it, and we're trying to figure out what the rest of the rotation was. And as I kept mentioning guys that hasn't pitched yet, Wilbur kept messaging me back saying, "Well, he's in the bullpen warming up," and they all end up pitching on Tuesday. So everyone is pitched. Everyone is pitched now, and if they keep their usual 6-man rotation, that means they're going to need like 2 more guys to kind of slide into that role. Unless like Mendez, I guess, is going to be one. So I guess they could slide everyone up for now. But yeah, it would be kind of interesting to see how the rotation goes.
Well, I'm more laughing to myself because this is almost like a Carlos Jimenez situation, like where I think like his player page said he was like 6 foot, 145 pounds, and it's like you look at him, you're like, there's no way that dude is 6 foot, 145 pounds. If you look at Gruber Mendez's player page right now, it says he's 6 foot, 150. I'm like, no. Just look at that dude's face. That dude. He's not 150.
No, he is not. He's not 150 pounds. But what is it? They like said? What is it? Meats pitched on Sunday. They can always slide them all up a day. Matt Ager, he hasn't been assigned to an affiliate yet. So maybe I saw him pitch while I was in Pirate City. Maybe he had a little bit of a hiccup and he's stretching back out. So maybe they're kind of just saving the spot for him for whenever he's ready. But yeah, seeing how the rotation goes. Because if they're already going to start going like bullpenish kind of games this early into the season, man, that could make for a long year down in Bradenton.
It all depends. I mean, there's a lot of arms, a lot of young arms, and you want to manage it.
Yeah.
I don't know if they really have like a seasoned kind of guy. I don't know.
No, we'll see. We'll see. But
yeah,
it's good to have minor league baseball back. So our focus can be on that and not other things. But yeah, did you have anyone else you wanted to talk about, or you good to start wrapping things up?
I feel like I had a name for a minute, but my brain is mush right now. So
fair enough. All right. So that's going to do it for the episode. Nola, where can they find you on the social media stuff?
At Nola Jeffy, NOLAJEFFY.
Yeah. Follow me on Twitter at @double_Murphy88. Subscribe to Bucks on Deck podcast. We got daily articles, game day article. You want to come talk about the game, anything else. Morning rundown breaks down everything that happened the previous day. Then we have like a daily feature, just updates on stuff going on in the minor leagues, give my thoughts about what happened every now and again. Subscribe. You subscribe, everything gets sent straight to your email. That way you can wake up and read everything that way. So thanks for tuning in. And we'll see you guys again next week.